Okay, picture this. Maybe you're a teacher feeling just swamped, right? Buried under essays to grade. Or maybe you're a student just staring at a screen, totally stuck on something tough.
Mm.
Wishing there was someone, like, right there, instantly, to give a quick hint, maybe some personalized help to get you unstuck.
Yeah, I think we can all relate to that feeling, definitely, whether you're in education now or it's, been a while.
Exactly. But what if technology is starting to, well, fundamentally change that whole picture? What if there's this new kind of AI that can not just lift that massive admin load off teachers, but also give tailored instant support to every single learner, like at scale?
That's precisely the vision these sources we looked at are painting. It's a really significant shift. This isn't just about putting more computers in classrooms or using more apps. It's about introducing these, well, intelligent systems that are way more deeply integrated. They're working with, like, purpose and intention.
Right,
Yeah.
purposeful. And that transformative potential, that's exactly what this deep dive is all about today. AI agents. Their role in education is growing fast, becoming way more sophisticated right here in 2025.
hmm
So we're going to explore these AI agents not just as, tools or software, but as active, purposeful assistants, almost like digital co-pilots working right alongside educators and learners, reshaping the whole experience.
And to give you the clearest possible picture of this evolving landscape, we've pulled insights from a couple of key sources for today's deep dive. Specifically, recent articles talking about the current state of AI agents in education, right now in 2025.
Okay.
These sources give us a foundation, and they include some pretty deep dives into specific platforms that are already starting to make waves, showing this potential. Platforms like Cure Learning and Disco.
Okay, good. So our mission today is clear. We want to unpack the most important bits, the really insightful stuff from these sources. We're here to explore the exciting potential gains like what's genuinely cool and beneficial about this tech acceleration in learning.
Right. But crucially, we also need to look hard at the significant disadvantages, the challenges, the critical things these same sources bring up.
Absolutely. Need that balance.
Ultimately, we want to figure out what all this rapid change means directly for you.
Mhm.
Whether you're a student maybe already using these systems, or a parent wondering how your kid's education is changing, or an educator exploring this,
Mhm.
and maybe even grappling with it, or maybe you're just curious about how AI is set to, well, fundamentally alter how we teach and learn.
Yeah.
We'll be pulling out some possibly surprising facts and specific details straight from the material. So yeah, let's unpack this. It sounds fascinating.
Let's dive in.
All right, so first things first, let's get a baseline from the sources. What exactly are these AI agents in education? Because it's clear they're not just, say, automated grading tools or simple study apps, right? No, that's a really critical distinction the sources make right off the bat. They describe them not just as passive automation tools, but as genuinely purposeful assistants and even co-pilots. They're designed specifically to work alongside humans in the education process.
Okay, purposeful assistants, co-pilots. I like that framing. Active collaborators.
Exactly. Think of them as intelligent components within a bigger system. They can analyze information, do complex tasks, and interact in a way that feels much more dynamic and responsive than, traditional ed tech. They have a defined goal, or maybe a set of goals, within that learning environment.
Okay, so based on what we've read, what's their core function? Like fundamentally, what are they doing?
At their core, their main job revolves around understanding and interacting with the learning process itself, and they do that through data. The sources explain they're constantly analyzing data that comes from learning interactions.
Okay, what kind of data?
It can be really granular stuff,
Right.
like how a student answers specific quiz questions, the way they participate or write responses in discussion forums, how much time they spend on different activities, or even like the specific path they take through a course module.
Wow. Okay.
And based on the patterns and insights they pull from this continuous stream of data, they're designed to adapt. They adjust the content or the pace or the kind of support they provide. And this allows for a level of personalization that honestly has been incredibly difficult, maybe impossible, to do at scale with limited human teachers.
So they're not just passively collecting data, they're actively learning from the learner and the environment itself.
Precisely. And this analytical capability isn't just for, like, reports or tracking progress. It's used to actually power a whole range of actions.
Yeah.
It lets them automate those repetitive time-sucking tasks for teachers, like routine grading or generating practice exercises.
Right.
But while doing that, they're also enhancing the interaction and engagement for the student. So they kind of bridge that gap between efficiency and personalized support.
That efficiency part, automating repetitive tasks, that sounds like a massive time saver for teachers. But you also mentioned enhancing interaction. How does that actually work? Can you tell us more about the adaptive interaction the sources talk about? What does it feel like for a student?
Yeah, this is highlighted as one of the really powerful features. The sources detail how these agents dynamically adjust the learning experience based directly on the learner's input. It's not just a static, one-size-fits-all
Sure, it's
delivery.
constantly walking how I'm doing.
Pretty much. They analyze how a student is engaging, looking at quiz responses, participation discussions, time spent on activities, how they navigate the material. It's not just looking at the final grade, but the whole journey, the process itself.
Okay, the whole process.
Exactly. And they use that rich stream of info to do things like um, recommend extra reading if you're struggling, suggest different ways to explain something if you seem stuck, or even dynamically adjust the pace, maybe skip stuff you've mastered, or give more practice if you need it. The real value here is that they learn from these patterns over time, so the guidance they give becomes more and more contextual, feels genuinely tailored to that specific student's needs and style.
Ah, I see.
If you're spending ages on one problem or getting things wrong, the AI might instantly suggest extra practice on that specific skill or offer a different video explaining it. But if you're flying through, it might unlock harder stuff or suggest advanced topics. It's this continuous adaptation that makes it feel really personalized.
That makes a lot of sense. It's almost like having a dedicated tutor who not only knows the subject but remembers everything you've done and figures out how you learn best.
Exactly.
What about immediate help, though? The sources also mention real-time guidance. How does that work for, the average student in the moment?
This is where the agents become really active participants, like moment to moment, stepping in exactly when and where you need them. They monitor your progress not just on one task, but across different activities in a course.
So if I get stuck.
Yeah, if the system picks up a signal, you might be struggling back.
Yeah.
Maybe you miss a few practice questions in a row, or you're just sitting there for too long on one task, or get stuck on a specific problem the AI can step in instantly with, like actionable suggestions or support.
Like a little pop-up hint?
Yeah,
Or maybe points me to a video.
precisely. It could be a subtle hint within the problem, a recommendation to reread a specific section, a link to a video explanation, or maybe just flagging the area you're struggling with for later review.
Okay.
The huge benefit is that immediate contextual support. It helps you stay engaged, stay motivated, because you're not left feeling frustrated or lost for ages waiting for a teacher to get back to you.
Right, reduces that frustration.
Exactly. You get instant feedback, correct misunderstandings right away, boosts confidence too. And really importantly for the teachers, it massively reduces the pressure on them to constantly monitor every single detail for every single student all at once.
Ah, freeing them up.
Yeah, it frees up educators from that constant micromanagement so they can focus their limited time somewhere else.
Okay, so AI agents are these intelligent co-pilots using learning data to personalize the experience and give real-time support. That paints a pretty clear picture of what they are and how they work. Let's shift now to why they matter so much. The sources lay out some really compelling gains, benefits they're bringing right now. Where should we start with the key advantages?
Well, the sources frame their importance by detailing how they're fundamentally changing the game in how educational programs get designed, managed, and even scaled. A key insight right away is how they dramatically streamline course design.
Streamlining course design. Okay, for the average student, that probably sounds like something happening way behind the scenes, maybe not something they'd notice directly.
True, it's background work, but the impact definitely ripples out to the student's experience. The sources explain how AI agents take on what used to be really painstakingly manual work in building courses and content.
Like what kind of work?
Things like drafting curricula from scratch, writing learning objectives, creating practice exercises, or making sure assessment questions perfectly align with the learning outcomes so it all fits together.
So basically, building the structure and content of a course gets much faster, less work.
Yeah, significantly faster. The sources actually quantify this, saying AI in course design can save hours of effort per module or course. But they're careful to stress it's not just about speed. It's also about making sure the resulting content is engaging and effective and actively raising the bar for learner experiences.
Okay, so speed and quality.
Right. If the foundation, the curriculum, materials, assessments is built better and faster, maybe with AI insights from the start, the learner ultimately gets better structured, more cohesive, maybe more relevant program. It lets the human designer focus on the big picture, the teaching strategy, instead of getting lost in manually assembling everything.
That makes perfect sense. If educators aren't spending endless hours on that manual assembly line, they can put that time into refining the teaching approach, adding richer media, designing cooler activities.
Exactly.
Which leads us right into another major gain mentioned, administrative efficiency. What kind of admin burdens are getting automated here? How does that help?
This one focuses squarely on the admin side that can often just bog down teams in schools or corporate training departments.
Yeah.
The sources mention automating tasks that are essential but super time consuming.
Like what? Scheduling, grading.
Yeah, things like managing enrollment, scheduling classes, definitely grading assignments and tests, and meticulously tracking individual and group learner progress. All that less glamorous but absolutely essential stuff that keeps things running.
Right, the logistics.
Exactly. By automating these routine processes, the sources state clearly that educational teams and administrators can focus on building meaningful programs instead of getting lost in logistics. Source 2 specifically calls this out for teachers, saying AI handling paperwork and routine reporting significantly frees them up.
Frees them up for it.
Frees them up to focus on more direct student interaction, creative teaching, professional development. It's a huge liberation from those mundane tasks.
Okay, so freeing up teachers from grading and paperwork is a direct, tangible benefit from this AI-driven admin efficiency. Let's talk about the direct impact on the student experience itself. You mentioned personalization earlier. How does that actually lead to better engagement?
This is maybe the most significant gain felt directly by the average student. Enhanced engagement driven by deep personalization. Like we discussed, AI agents are great at creating personalized experiences by constantly adapting the content, the challenge level, the pacing to individual needs, and what you've shown you understand.
And the sources link this directly to better outcomes for the learner.
Yeah, they indicate that when the learning experience is personalized and adaptive, learners feel more supported because the instruction is meeting them where they are. This leads to higher satisfaction with the process and, ultimately, better results.
Makes sense.
Source 2 specifically notes that adaptive programs, which are a core part of these AI agents, really help close learning gaps for students who might be struggling, and they're key to keeping all students motivated by giving challenges that aren't too easy or frustratingly hard.
Source 2 also mentioned other tech alongside AI agents here, like VRRR and gamification. How did those fit in?
Yeah, those are presented as sort of complementary tools. They can be integrated into an AI-driven platform to make the whole experience even more dynamic and immersive.
Okay.
Like Source 2 mentions VR making exploration easier. Imagine taking a virtual field trip to ancient Rome or messing around with 3D models of molecules.
Right.
And gamification platforms like Class Dojo, which they mention, use game mechanics points, badges, leaderboards to encourage focus and participation.
So the AI decides when to use those tools.
Pretty much. While those tools might not be AI agents in the same way, the AI platform can intelligently leverage them or integrate with them. The AI could decide when to introduce a game element or which VR simulation is best for a student at a particular point in their learning. It orchestrates the whole thing.
Got it. So the AI handles the deep personalization and logistics, and these other techs add layers of interaction and engagement. Another big gain mentioned, especially for institutions or businesses with large training programs, is scalability.
Oh yeah, huge. Scaling educational programs, reaching more students in a district, more employees globally, growing an online course that's traditionally been a massive challenge. How do you reach way more people without costs going through the roof or the quality of the experience dropping?
Right.
AI, according to the sources, totally flips the script on this.
How does it do that?
Well, instead of the old model where scaling up means you just have to keep hiring more staff or stretching existing human resources thin to maintain personalization and admin, AI agents let organizations grow their learner base significantly while maintaining or even improving the quality and personalization. The AI agents can deliver that tailored journey and handle the logistics, whether it's for a small group or hundreds of thousands globally. The operational overhead, the cost of providing support, feedback, admin, stays relatively steady because the AI is handling so much of that work. It makes previously unscalable models of personalized education suddenly possible.
Wow, that's a massive potential impact, making high-quality personalized learning accessible much more widely within budget. And all this analysis and interaction must generate tons of data about how people learn. Is that data itself another benefit?
Absolutely. Gain number 5 is the power of data-driven insights. These AI agents are constantly analyzing that stream of data from learner interactions, tracking engagement trends, monitoring outcomes, identifying common sticking points, highlighting what works well.
And what's the value of having that kind of granular data in real time?
The sources say this wealth of data equips organizations with insights to continuously refine and improve programs in a way that just wasn't possible before. Source 2 specifically says these real-time analytics give schools valuable information for better decisions supporting student success.
So they can see what's working and what isn't.
Exactly. Educators, administrators, designers can see in detail what content is resonating, where groups of students get stuck, which teaching strategies are effective, and then use that data to make informed strategic decisions to improve the curriculum, the teaching, the support. It moves education from being based just on intuition or occasional tests to being continuously informed by actual learning behavior.
So it helps individual learners directly and helps the whole system improve itself. You mentioned earlier that AI frees up educators. Source 2 really emphasizes this as maybe the most human-centric gain.
Yes, it's so crucial it's worth circling back to because it ties several gains together. Source 2 explicitly says that by handling admin tasks, grading, initial support, logistics, AI frees teachers from the drudgery of paperwork and routine tasks.
Right.
And this liberation of time and energy means they can refocus on what they're uniquely qualified and essential for. Creative teaching, providing direct, nuanced student support that needs empathy and complex understanding, mentoring students, innovating curriculum. It lets teachers be educators, not just administrators.
That paints a really compelling picture of the potential gains. Faster, better course creation, way less admin burden, truly personalized and engaging experiences for students at scale, institutions able to grow easily, and invaluable data to keep improving everything for everyone.
Exactly. The potential for positive change is significant based on these sources.
Okay, so we have a solid grasp of what AI agents are here and why the sources say they matter so much, those key gains. Now, the sources get even more specific. They talk about different types of AI agents emerging and even spotlight specific tools and platforms bringing these ideas to life. Let's first look at the top 7 types of AI agents mentioned in Source 1. Sounds like distinct roles AI is taking on.
That's a good way to put it. Source 1 breaks down the landscape by identifying these 7 distinct categories or types, each designed to transform a different piece of the educational puzzle. It's like a specialization of AI functions.
All right, let's walk through them. What's the first type?
Number 1 is adaptive curriculum designers. As the name suggests, these go beyond static lesson plans. They continuously refine lesson plans, course materials, even the sequence of content.
Adapting to what exactly?
They adapt based on how learners interact, their progress, their performance data. They analyze how students are doing, where they spend time, what they master, what they struggle with. Using that analysis, they adjust pacing, swap examples, recommend different resources, maybe suggest a different path through the material.
Okay.
The goal, Source 1 says, is to tailor the learning experience to ensure no one is left behind or held back. Basically, providing content that's always at the right level.
Tailoring the path. Got it. What's number 2?
Number 2, real-time learning assistants. These are maybe the most visible ones for the student. They provide immediate, in-the-moment support. Think instant answers, quick explanations, guidance right when you signal you're stuck.
Like a super smart chatbot for the subject.
Kind of, yeah, but with deeper context from the course material and your progress in it. The main benefit, the source says, is keeping learners in their flow without waiting for human help. Prevents frustration, keeps momentum, and for educators, it reduces the pressure of being always available for every question.
That immediate feedback loop sounds incredibly helpful. Number 3.
AI-powered content generators. These focus on the often time-consuming job of creating learning materials. They can automatically produce stuff like practice quizzes based on objectives, draft relevant case studies, or assemble interactive lesson parts based on prompts from the teacher.
So a teacher could say, make a quiz on this concept, and the AI drafts it.
Exactly. Source 1 emphasizes these bring significant efficiency to course creation, frees up the educator's time to focus on delivery, discussion, interaction, rather than hours of manual content making.
Well, less time making multiple choice questions sounds good. 4th type.
Intelligent administrative coordinators. These focus on automating and managing that mountain of logistics in education programs. Routine stuff like attendance, sending automated reminders about deadlines, generating progress reports.
More automation freeing up human time.
Exactly. Source 1 says, these agents free up educators to concentrate on teaching and connecting with learners instead of getting buried in admin. They keep the operational side smooth so humans can focus on the teaching and relationship parts.
Okay, admin support is a distinct focus. Number 5.
Virtual discussion moderators. These are especially relevant for online learning, where managing group discussions can be tough. They encourage participation in forums, track engagement, guide conversations to keep them productive and on topic.
That sounds really useful. Managing online chats effectively is a real skill.
Absolutely. Source One knows these agents bring structure to group interactions, helping make online learning more engaging and collaborative by facilitating conversations, even without constant human oversight.
What's number 6?
Engagement analytics agents. We touched on this with the data insights game. These agents specialize in collecting, analyzing, and providing real-time insights into learner behavior within the platform.
What kind of behavior are they tracking?
Things like which parts of a course learners spend the most time on, where students might be dropping off, which activities seem to work best. This detailed data empowers educators to refine content and create programs that learners truly connect with by showing concrete evidence of what's working, allowing for data-informed improvements.
Giving teachers a clear view of how students are interacting. Got it. And finally, number 7.
Lifelong learning coaches. This category looks beyond just one course. It takes a longer view of an individual's educational or career path. These agents help people map out long-term development goals.
Like career guidance or planning future learning.
Yeah, they analyze your learning history, skills, stated goals. Based on that, they can recommend future courses, certifications, skills to develop, even potential career paths. Source One calls them a personal guide, helping learners stay aligned with the demands of the ever-changing job market by suggesting relevant next steps.
Wow. So it's not just one big AI doing everything. It's like a suite of specialized agents, each tackling a different piece of the puzzle, from course design and admin all the way to long-term career guidance.
That's exactly what the sources suggest, a modular, specialized approach where different agents work together to enhance the whole educational experience.
Okay, let's look at some specific tools mentioned in the sources that are actually doing this stuff. They spotlight a few platforms driving change right now. Cura Learning seems to be a big focus in Source 2, and it's mentioned in Source 1's FAQ too.
Yeah, Kira Learning is presented, especially in Source 2, as a platform really leading the charge and showing the power of these agents, particularly in K-12 education. Source 2 describes it as going way beyond traditional learning management systems or LMSs, which often just act like digital filing cabinets.
How is Cura different from a typical LMS then?
It's positioned not just as a place to store coursework, but as a smart, always-ready assistant, built to empower teachers and support students. Source 2 really emphasizes that Kira helps educators with complex tasks, planning dynamic lessons, automatically grading different kinds of assignments, providing personalized help directly to students. AI is deeply integrated into the core workflow.
Okay, so it embodies several of those agent types we just discussed, all in one K-12 focused platform. Let's get specific based on Source 2. How does it help with lesson planning?
Source 2 explains Kira's AI assists teachers by analyzing tons of data, past student performance, curriculum standards, even insights into individual learning styles from how students interact. Using this, the AI helps teachers plan customized lessons that are aligned with goals and tailored to the specific needs and levels of the students in that class. Helps them differentiate instruction efficiently.
Automated grading sounds like a game changer for teachers. How does Kira do that, according to Source 2? It's got to be more than just multiple choice, right?
Oh, absolutely. Source 2 highlights its sophistication. It uses advanced techniques like natural language processing for text, like essays,
Okay.
and image processing.
Image processing for what?
That lets the AI interpret and grade assignments with visual parts. Think math problems where students show their work by hand and upload a picture, or maybe science diagrams. The source stresses Kira grades quickly and fairly, and crucially provides consistent and timely feedback. That timely feedback is key. Let students learn from mistakes much faster than waiting weeks for a paperback.
And it gives that feedback directly to the students.
Yes, Source 2 explicitly highlights that. It provides real-time, personalized feedback to students right after they submit work. The AI points out strengths, weaknesses, offers concrete recommendations. This immediate, targeted feedback helps students take charge of their learning and speeds up progress. They know why an answer was wrong.
That instant feedback loop must be huge for learning speed. What data does Kira give teachers?
Source 2 says Kira gathers and synthesizes a wide range of student data performance, engagement. It's presented on a comprehensive dashboard for teachers. Helps them quickly see how the class is doing, identify patterns, pinpoint knowledge gaps, track individual progress, turns raw data into actionable insights.
And Source 2 mentioned predictive analytics, too. What's that for?
Yeah, the source notes Kira can use predictive analytics. The AI analyzes historical and current data to identify students who might be at risk of falling behind, hopefully before it's a big problem.
Ah, okay.
Once identified, the system can suggest timely support or interventions to the teacher, letting them proactively help. It's presented as promoting fair learning opportunities by helping ensure no student slips through the cracks.
Source 2 also talks about results from schools using Kira. What are they seeing?
Yeah, the source mentions positive outcomes from schools using Kira, including examples from statewide use in Tennessee. Things like higher participation, better assignment completion, and observed improvements in test results. They attributed this partly to Kira's personalization, ensuring students get challenges and support that fit their level and pace.
Source 2 gives a peek under the hood at Kira's architecture. What are the key parts?
It describes Kira as built with AI at its core, not just added on. It has several specialized agents working together. An AI tutor adjusts lessons and pace, generates practice questions. An AI teaching assistant helps teachers plan lessons with data-driven suggestions. The AI grader, like we discussed, assesses work using NLP and image processing, gives feedback. And an AI insights agent collects and summarizes data into reports and dashboards for teachers.
Sounds like a really integrated suite of agents.
Exactly. Source 2 also notes its modular design, it's cloud-based, and importantly for schools, it integrates with existing school software. It supports standards like LTI, Common Cartridge, OneRoster, basically technical languages that let different education apps talk to each other easily. This makes adoption way easier for schools. Its success in Tennessee is highlighted as proof it works reliably at scale.
Okay, so Kira Learning is a great example, especially for K-12, focusing on teacher support and personalized learning. Source 1 also spotlights another platform, Disco AI. What's its main focus, according to Source 1?
Source 1 positions Disco AI as combining intelligence, community, and operational ease. Its focus seems broader, helping organizations build and scale learning programs while really fostering a sense of community among learners, maybe aimed more at creators, companies, institutions building engaging learning experiences.
And like Kira, it uses purpose-built agents.
Yes, Source 1 names 3 key AI agents in Disco: the learning design agent, the operations agent, and the learning coach.
How do these agents' functions compare to Kira or the general types we discussed?
There's definitely overlap, reflecting those general categories, but in Disco's context, it has an AI-first design. The learning design agent is like the content generators and adaptive designers, crafts lessons, modules, quizzes fast. The operations agent handles repetitive admin tasks, like the intelligent admin coordinators. And the learning coach gives personalized learner support, similar to the real-time assistants and lifelong coaches, aiming to make each interaction meaningful.
So, agents covering content, admin, and personalized support. What else is highlighted about Disco?
Source 1 really emphasizes Disco's social learning core. This seems to be a differentiator. It deeply integrates collaboration features, discussion threads, live event management, direct messaging. The idea is to turn static content into a dynamic hub for conversation and shared growth, building community alongside structured learning.
That social element integrated right in is interesting. What about personalization and analytics for Disco?
Similar to Kira and the engagement analytics agents, Source 1 says Disco tracks engagement and progress, providing actionable insights for learners and admins. It uses this data to adjust content for pace, identifies participation trends. The goal is ensuring individual journeys feel unique while programs connect with their audience based on engagement.
And Source 1 mentioned pricing.
Yeah, just gives an example, $359 per month for small businesses, but indicates it's suitable for various users, from individual creators to large organizations.
Okay, so we've looked closely at Kira Learning, K-12, Teacher Assist Grading, and Disco AI, Intelligence Plus Community. Source 1 also briefly mentioned several other AI tools in the education space. We don't need deep dives, but what are their key strengths mentioned?
Sure. The source gives a quick overview of a few others, showing the market breadth. ChatGPT, mentioned for versatility, multimodal capabilities, not just text, but summarizing video, analyzing code. Great for content creation, explanations, pricing. Free, plus 20 months pro, $200 pair
Yeah.
product. Another conversational AI, noted for technical precision, user-friendly communication. Strengths, multilingual. Generates code, good for specialized areas like coding or math. Pricing, free. Pro, 18 Summo, Team, 25 all source, Urzamo, Notebook LM. Built for knowledge synthesis. Its strength is analyzing diverse sources, PDFs, videos, web pages, and turning them into study aids like guides, timelines, summaries. Google integration, collaboration features, free premium tiers mentioned.
Useful.
Magic School, specifically for educators, like a teacher's assistant with over 80 micro apps for tasks like lesson plans, quizzes, emails, even conversation prompts. Customization, teacher-student views. Pricing, free, plus $99.96 a year.
Wow, 80 apps.
Focuses on meeting productivity, relevant for online class lectures. Captures notes, tasks, follow-ups from meetings. Integrates with Zoom, Meet, Teams, multilingual. Syncs insights to other tools. Pricing starts at 12 hours, up to enterprise. School AI. Provides personalized classroom tools, has spaces for tailored student Q&A with AI adjusted for learning styles, big emphasis on strong teacher controls to manage AI use, prevent misuse, integrates with Google LMS pricing, free for teachers, custom for schools.
Wow, that really shows the range of applications popping up. It's not just one type of AI or one big platform. It's a whole ecosystem of tools, each with different strengths, all using AI agents somehow to improve different parts of education.
Yeah, it clearly demonstrates how AI is embedding itself into multiple layers of the learning experience in 2025.
Okay, so we've covered the what, how AI agents work, the different types. We've covered the why, the big gains in efficiency, personalization, scale, shown by tools like Kira, Disco, and others. It sounds incredibly promising, potentially making education better and less burdensome. But the sources aren't painting an entirely perfect picture. They also spend significant time on the challenges, the critical considerations that come with this rapid AI integration. Time to look at the other side of the coin. What are the potential downsides, hurdles, ethical questions the sources raise?
That's absolutely crucial for a balanced view. The sources explicitly point out some really important challenges needing careful attention. The first big one, especially emphasized in Source 2, is about equity and access.
Equity and access sounds like the worry that not all students will get the same chance to benefit from these powerful tools.
Exactly. Source 2 states it clearly. Not all students have the same access to technology, specifically noting gaps for students in rural or low-income areas. It's not just about having a computer. It's reliable internet, up-to-date devices, the infrastructure for cloud AI.
And the potential outcome if that gap isn't addressed.
The big risk is creating an even wider gap in learning opportunities.
Yeah.
If some students get highly personalized AI tutors and efficient support, while others don't, it could worsen the existing educational divide. The sources are clear on the responsibility. Schools, governments must work tirelessly to make AI learning tools available to every student, no matter their background or location. The goal should be leveling the playing field, not tilting it further.
That's a huge point. These tools could uplift, but without careful deployment, they could make inequality worse. What's the next big challenge mentioned?
Data privacy and ethics, highlighted as major concerns, especially in Source 2. These AI systems, well, they need to collect and process a lot of student data to work their magic.
What kind of data are we talking about?
The sources indicate deeply personal stuff, personal details, academic grades, and detailed behavioral patterns from how students interact with the platform. Source 2 really hammers the need for schools and the tech companies to keep this data safe and private.
And the broader ethical questions around that sensitive data.
Yeah, serious considerations about potential misuse or security risks. Who owns the data? How is it used beyond just improving learning? How long is it kept? And crucially, protecting it from data breaches or unauthorized access, which could really harm students' privacy down the line.
That's major. Student data is incredibly sensitive. What about bias? That comes up a lot with AI systems.
Yes, bias in AI is challenge number 3 in Source 2. It's critical for fairness. The mechanism is pretty straightforward. If the data used to train the AI is biased, the system may make unfair decisions, because AI learns patterns from its training data.
Does Source 2 give an example?
Yeah, it uses the example of an AI grader. If the training data used to teach a grading reflects existing human biases, maybe in historical grading patterns, biases against certain writing styles, or even performance trends linked to demographics, then the AI could end up marking some students unfairly. It could accidentally perpetuate or even amplify those biases.
Wow. That's sobering. It really highlights that building these systems needs extreme care with training data to avoid unfairness. And just to be clear, we're reporting on the source's point about potential bias here. It's a critical consideration they raise.
Precisely. It's not just a tech bug. It requires careful design, diverse data, and ongoing checks to ensure these systems promote equity, not undermine it.
And the final key challenge mentioned links back to the human teacher's role in this AI-assisted world.
Yes, and Source 2 makes this point very strongly. AI is fundamentally meant to support teachers, not replace them. This is presented as the intended crucial role.
But isn't there a real fear that this level of automation could eventually replace teachers?
That fear definitely exists, and the sources acknowledge it, but they frame the intended role differently. They stress the human element. The teacher is still essential for building relationships with students. While AI can take over admin, grading, initial support, freeing teachers up, it shouldn't take their place in areas needing complex human judgment, emotional intelligence, nuanced motivation, or that personal relationship building that's core to teaching. The human connection remains key.
So the ideal, according to the sources, is a partnership. AI handles data, scaling personalization, admin load, specifically so human teachers can focus their energy on the uniquely human stuff AI can't do: mentoring, creativity, emotional support, building rapport.
That's the collaborative model the sources advocate for as the best path, while clearly acknowledging the tension and the need to ensure AI development prioritizes this support role, not replacement.
Okay, we have covered a lot of ground in this deep dive. We've looked at what AI agents in education are, how they work as purposeful assistants, and detailed the huge gains they offer: efficiency, course design, incredible personalization and engagement, data insights, and freeing up educators. We've seen the landscape of different agent types and looked at specific examples like Kira Learning and Disco AI, showing the potential for seamless, impactful, scalable learning.
And crucially, we've also thoroughly examined the challenges and considerations the sources highlight. Those hurdles around equitable access for all students, the absolute need for robust data privacy and ethics, the risk of bias if not carefully managed, and the vital need to ensure AI supports, not replaces, human teachers.
It really is, as the sources present, a complex picture. Huge potential for improvement, but tied to significant responsibilities around access, security, fairness, and keeping the human element central. It's not simply good or bad. It's about how we design, implement, and govern these powerful tools.
Yeah, it requires thoughtful action from everyone involved: policymakers, schools, teachers, developers, the community.
This has been a really fascinating deep dive into how AI agents are actively reshaping education in 2025. We've seen the immense potential for personalized learning journeys and serious admin relief for educators, shown by tools like Kira and Disco, promising not just better engagement and results, but freeing up teachers' valuable time.
And we've also really dug into that crucial flip side from the sources. The significant challenges: ensuring equitable access for every student, the absolute necessity for strong data privacy and ethics, the risk of amplifying bias without careful design, and the fundamental imperative that AI supports human teachers, enhancing their ability to connect, not replacing that vital human connection.
So what does all this mean specifically for you, the listener? Well, it means the way you or your kids or people you know interact with learning might be changing, maybe quite fast. You might see more AI-driven personalized feedback, adaptive study paths, or maybe educators with more time for direct support because AI is handling the background stuff. But it also means it's more important than ever to be aware of the big questions this raises. Questions about who gets access, how fairness is ensured, how your personal data is being handled and kept safe in these new systems.
It really highlights the need for critical thinking, not just about what these tools can do, but how they're used, who benefits, and how we make sure they align with our values for a fair and effective education system for everyone.
Absolutely. As AI agents keep reshaping how we learn and teach, offering both amazing efficiency and personalization, perhaps the real deep dive we all need isn't just into the tech itself, but into how we collectively ensure this powerful force serves everyone equitably, and how we make sure it genuinely enhances rather than diminishes that irreplaceable human connection that is, really, what education is all about.